just anything of the sort similar to it in general, right? I kind of wanted to make my experience on this topic for a while. And, for someone like me who plays a lot of video games, I honestly really feel like this happens to me on a regular basis. And what I mean by a regular basis, it happens to me like a lot, not wanting to play anything like anymore, no video games, nothing. I don't want to play nothing. Anyways, I'm back. So, what I wanted to really discuss, right, was just me not wanting to play video games. Because there are so many points, especially right now in my life, right, where I'm sitting down, I am getting ready to play something because, I don't know what else to do to pass the time, other than maybe go on a walk or go do something with Louie or something like that, right? And I have so many options at my disposal, right? And because sometimes I have so many options at my disposal, there's not like a limit, or there's not like some sort of like, I don't know the right word. There's like, it's weird because how I'm trying to explain this is like, since there's like no limits on what I can play because, by emulating or not emulating or, having my Wii, having my PS5, there's so many options to play a game that it makes me sometimes not even want to bother, or sometimes like my interest in gaming like kind of just goes away in a way, to the point where it's like I'm bouncing from game to game. Because keep in mind, right, I'm a game reviewer as well as me playing video games, right? I play video games. I don't know why I'm saying it like that all the time, or when I'm in scenarios like this. But not like a lot of the times when I do play video games, for a lot of people, I like to play video games, obviously to stream them, but I also like playing video games to review them, right? And for some reason, nowadays, it feels like I'm always bouncing from game to game, like kind of like getting initial interest and then like sort of like not following through with the game in question, right? And it's been happening to me so much as of late, and I'm wondering why that is. And a part of me like feels like I know what it is, but a part of me doesn't know what it is, like bouncing from game to game all the time. Like, for example, I'm playing Punch Out over here, right? But like, just a random example, right? Actually, no, I got a better example. I'm trying to play like a game, or just a brand new game, like let's say SpongeBob Cosmic Shake, right? I play it for like 20 minutes, give or take, 20, 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour, and I feel done with it, and I decide to go play something else. I decide to go play Punch Up for the next 4 hours, right? I think, maybe like my attention span for like something new is starting to like kind of close itself out, and I only want to like start going back to playing stuff that I like know on like a regular basis, or want to play like on a regular basis, not really try anything new or something like that. Because I've been noticing that with a lot of games I try to get into, I've been getting out of them like so much, like ridiculous amounts. Like, if you ain't like Super Mario 64, Punch Out for the Wii, or something I would normally like, I'm not going to play you very long. You know what I mean? I'm going to play you for like 30 minutes to an hour. And sometimes I even question like why I'm even playing this in the first place. Because back then, if a game was bad, most times I would play it to a really good point and then stop, right? But nowadays, it's like, if I have a game in front of me that I really, really do not like, or my attention span just kind of fizzles out with it, right? A part of me just doesn't even want to bother playing the game, like, anymore, like, at all, And I also feel like another reason why I'm always bouncing game to game is because I'm getting annoyed with a lot of games that like come into my life like in a way like that come my way. I'll use a more recent example to give you guys something. Like Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games for the DS, right? After that stream, I kind of don't ever want to go back to it again. Even though people want me to, I just don't want to go back to it again because I've already seen what I've wanted to see with the game. My brain's kind of already made up its mind in terms of like how much of it I want to play or whatever and just get it out of the way. Sometimes my brain just kind of operates like that where it's like it doesn't want to like continue the experience anymore. I'm not really having fun with the experience anymore, or I'm already bored of the experience, so I need to like move on to something else. But I feel like nowadays, I feel like moving on isn't really working out. I don't feel like that insane enthusiasm, that I did like 5 years ago when I was branching out from game to game to game, because nowadays I feel like I'm bouncing from game to game so many times. And you guys can even see that in stream. Like I'm bouncing from Roblox to Super Mario Brothers 3 Mix, or Super Mario Brothers 3 Mix to Punch Out Wii, which, to be honest, I've made more Punch Out Wii videos in a single few day cycle than I have with other things, right? But it's just my brain is starting to bother me since last night about this topic, about like maybe I'm just not interested into them anymore, or maybe I'm just not as interested in a lot of video games or a lot of stuff that I am consuming on a regular basis. Maybe I'm just sick and tired of the challenge too. That's another thing I think that is a reason why I'm bouncing from game to game, is because I don't want to deal with the challenge in front of me at the moment. Henceforth, why I move on to other things, or I do other things, or I don't even want to bother playing, which is why another reason why I just stopped playing this fucking shitty ass Spider-Man game, Spider-Man Venom Maximum Carnage. I stopped playing that game because I just realized this is boring, this is repetitive, and it's frustrating. The fun part already left the building, and I need to really realize, I need to start locking in like the fun factor of it all. Because when I'm doing Punch Out Wii challenges, half the time I'm not even having fun, that's just pure induced rage. But I push through because I need a video this morning, you know what I mean? And it's like, sometimes I really just don't get myself all that much, I want to play video games for fun, but here I am playing video games, like certain video games, for either a video or, like, and I honestly, I feel like it's a lot of the games that I play, I can't even enjoy them due to how I am right now, like, for example, like angry all the time, or just constantly just wanting to do something else, or constantly not wanting to deal with what's in front of me. Because I genuinely have a problem where a game can easily get ruined for me if I don't if I don't want to deal with what's right in front of me. Like, for example, I'll give you another one, right? If I see a time trial and I'm required to do so in order to beat the level to move on, I'm gonna drop the game because of that, and you guys always know I had that problem, right? Is that stuff can easily be ruined for me, and some people might say, well, you let them ruin you, and it's like, motherfucker, if I let things ruin me, a lot more things would ruin me, more so than not today, Like, a lot of things would be ruined for me. Like, if someone said one thing, my whole perspective on you is ruined, if that was the case. But, and, I don't know, like, a part of me, like, so many things get ruined, like, almost so easily. Like anything that provides me a challenge, anything that tries to challenge me sometimes, and it's like, I'm not trying to be challenged. I'm just trying to have a good time. I'm just trying to enjoy myself. But for some reason, 9 times out of 10, when a game tries to challenge me in a way, I don't enjoy the challenge. I don't see the enjoyment from the challenge. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I bounce from game to game to game to game a lot, is because either A, I just don't like the game in general, or B, I don't like the challenge the game provides, which is why I'm bouncing from game to game. And I know there's a lot of people out there that bounce from different game to game for multiple different reasons. For example, like, let me tell you, for example, right? God, I'm so in my own headspace, I'm not even acknowledging chat. But, let me tell you something, right? So, oh, fuck, I just lost my train of thought, because this has been, like, eating away at me in my mind since yesterday, ever since I got out the shower, because I'm struggling to even, like, wanting to turn on a game, you know? And it's like, Alan, remember, like, the reason you're playing this, because one of my biggest motivations back in the day for playing a video game is the review. You know, you got a video to make after this, you know. People around the world want to hear your thoughts on Super Mario Brothers 3. What is it? You know, or, you know, you got to do it because there's a video at the end of the way for you, you know, for this. Or when you're doing a Let's Play, you know, you're doing this so you don't have to do it again. You know, you don't have to play the game ever again, you know, since you're streaming the game and you finished it, you don't have to worry about picking it up ever again. That's literally what goes through my mind almost every playthrough or every gameplay video, is once you do it, you don't have to do it again. You know, because, you know, the stress and the anxiety easily gets to me too. So it's like, you know, I hope I perform good. I hope I do a lot of things good. And I feel like this is exactly why I feel like someone like me shouldn't even be bothering with it most times. Most times I play, I really shouldn't bother. I really shouldn't bother. And, you know, hence why I probably get so angry at it, you know, is because, like, and, oh my God. Don't even get me started with when, you know, games get me toxic, but that's a whole thing, right? A whole thing with me and why these games, like, look and disgusting, right? Because they just, like, things just disgust me. Are you ever going to do, like, another major stream, like another Sonic game? Probably not. I have no idea what I want to do. Are you interested in the WarioWare games? I was interested in the WarioWare games for a little bit, but then I started realizing they're just the same shit on a different console. I think the last WarioWare game I'm ever going to be interested in is probably the Wii one. But even then, there's probably a lot of challenges that I don't like, and I don't know. Because every game I've ever come across that I've ever liked has something I don't like in it, and I'm tired of playing a game that has something in there that I really don't like. Right? Because I was talking to myself, or not talking to myself, but I was thinking to myself, not out loud, but I was thinking to myself that every single fucking game I've ever played, I have some sort of problem with it, you know? And it's like, and I'm tired of that in a way too, you know? And some people might be thinking, well, Alan, why don't you just stop letting the thing in question bother you? It's not that easy, mate. It's not just a thought, it's how I feel about it, because I'm a very feely type of guy. Like, if the waves, man, you know, the feelings. I'm not some I don't care about Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't think a lot of anime is all that good anymore anyway, for a lot of the time. Sure, I may like Kaiju number 8, maybe a few more, but dude, I'm more interested in Super Mario than I've ever been in anime a lot of the time. Which is why I don't really talk about it as much anymore. Meanwhile, that's everybody's shit now all of a sudden. Like the final boss Sonic Mania, that's something that you didn't like. Yeah, to just name a few, right? Like the final boss in Sonic Mania. Or fucking Super Mario Brothers 3's Pipe World. Or Super Mario Galaxy 2's Time Trials, or Time Limit Levels, or one-hit missions, or The Perfect Run, you know, just to name a few things from Galaxy, or Luigi's Mansion, like what some of the bosses in Luigi's Mansion that bother me, and it's like, when something bothers me, I don't just think about it, I feel it, and it kind of runs my thought process for a long while during it or after it, and depending on how I feel about it, it's gonna be there with me. It's gonna stick with me for a little bit. It used to be much worse than this, guys. It used to be months. It used to be me still thinking about it like a month later, right? No. This doesn't mean I'm not gonna game, but it's just annoying. Not like it's just annoying me that I'm not sticking to games that I want to stick to and finish, as well as me not wanting to even feel myself play any of them or anything friends suggest me or anything other people suggest me, right? And don't get me wrong, right? Sometimes even games that I suggest myself don't work out, but usually it's most games that I want to play for a review end up not going right, or I just don't care about it anymore. Think of all the reviews I probably made that I didn't even bother finishing the game for. I have so many of my experiences in the back I haven't made, mainly because I haven't finished any of those. I haven't went back and touched them. Like Mega Man 64, aka Mega Man Legends 1, I just didn't bother playing the game because of the tank controls, or something like the tank controls kind of ruined the whole game for me, because controls is a very important thing for me when I play a game. Sonic, I have played Sonic and the Secret Rings. That game is shit. I hate the control of the game and the level design and structure. That's why I stopped playing that game, to be honest. I dropped it. I didn't even bother finishing it. I dropped it. Because there were so many missions that feel like it's the same shit, or they lock you in certain missions because you have to do certain missions or to unlock later missions, and I'm like, fuck that shit. Fuck all of that. I hate missions like this. Sonic and the Secret Rings, one of the biggest mistakes in my life. Another example, Luigi's Mansion 2. Why the fuck would I want to go in this mansion to do this mission / this level when it should all just be one big-ass house? Like Luigi's Mansion 3. And there were some things in Luigi's Mansion 3 I didn't like. And obviously sometimes I can push past the bullshit and be like, okay, despite its problems, I can finish this, right? And it's I don't know, my tolerance for bullshit exists. It's still there, but I swear that shit just diminished sometimes. And it's it just ruins the overall feeling I have for the game sometimes. Because it's why are you doing this? I'm trying to find that perfect game. But there's no such thing as that. There's something that always has to bother me. And maybe sometimes it's the same fucking things that bother me. Are you going to return to Mario and Luigi Brothership? That's a dumbass question, because let me tell you why. No Switch! But back to what I was saying, right? This is how I'm feeling about games, or this is how I'm feeling. Bouncing from game to game really bugs me. It annoys me. Hence why I've been playing Punch-Out Wii a lot, because I love that game. I will go back to that game, anytime, anywhere, despite my problems with it, right? And obviously I know what makes the game for me, and that's something I know, right? When I know something is not fun, I will tend to avoid it, because I'm that guy that loves fun above anything else. A lot of gamers love that grind, I'm getting so frustrated, but I gotta pass this, and I'm I don't enjoy that aspect of video games, right? I don't enjoy it. I've never enjoyed it. I've never enjoyed that mindset of this is bothering me, I gotta keep going, And because whenever I get pushed like that, I do dumbass shit. I'm not like other people where it's they'll push forward and continue on with it, despite, them feeling a certain way until they beat it. And then it's yep, I got the memories of it in my brain. Sure, I'll get the memories, but I'll do extra shit on top of that. And you guys have witnessed that multiple times. I mean, my knuckle becoming so fucking inflated that it's it's as big as a fucking golf ball, or me snapping disc, or me doing something because there's something that I don't like facing head on, or there's something in a game that bothers me and it takes me out of the whole experience. And a lot of people just tell me, turn off the game, right? And it's it's not that easy sometimes just to turn it off. I have to ask myself slash ask a developer sometimes, why the fuck did you bother putting this in? Or why the fuck did I even give it a try? Sometimes, you know, and for me, playing any game at all times is a gamble. It isn't easy for me to do. It's actually really hard for me to even turn a game on and play, which is why I always try to find the games that are stress-free, but it never seems to happen for very long, playing the stress-free game or doing whatever, because I feel like that stress-free game still stresses me out in some way, or still bothers me, or still rubs me the wrong way in some way, shape, or form. And it's not that I play a game looking for those things, it just happens to find me each and every single time, right? And it's just like, why am I even picking up the controller to play this shit if that shit... And that shit just happens so much. That shit happens so frequently. And it bugs me a lot. And I'm making this my experience video because I just wanted to talk about it, because I know there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way I do whenever they play. It's like whenever I play, I feel like not wanting to play some days because of just my overall energy or whatever, right? It's like, I don't know. And then I'm trying to play. Another thing that bothers me, right, is when I jump to new games, it's like sometimes I bounce to games I've already played before, and I suddenly just want to have the urge to replay them just to drop it again and bounce to another thing. And it's like, oh my god, can you just stick to the game, please? And I also think the reason I've even got this mentality too is because I've been playing so many games, like bouncing from so many games, like beating one game, then bouncing to the next, or playing an hour of this game, playing an hour of that game, and then moving on to the next thing. I just need to stick to something until I either finish it or until I feel like I'm absolutely done with it. And since I'm a YouTuber, that happens a lot where I'm bouncing from game to game to game. Even on footage, sometimes I even just feel like I want to only play video games when I'm fucking streaming or when I'm doing my YouTube thing. And then other than that, I don't want to touch it sometimes, because it's like, I don't know, a part of me doesn't even... It's weird, right? I don't know. I have weird feelings when it comes to game times a lot of the time, because it loves to switch up all the time. Loves to switch up on me. I don't know why my fucking footage is lagging. I swear, my internet sometimes, man. Doki Doki? No. I am not interested in Doki Doki Literature Club. I couldn't even play it even if I wanted to. But I've had no interest in it since it came out. I'm very specific in my interest. I'm very, not one-noted, but like, I don't know. It's kind of... Man, shit, it's hard for me to get into new games nowadays, man. Like, I remember we had a whole era where I couldn't even play PlayStation games because all they would release is FPS shooters or Dark Souls-like games or whatever the fuck, or something similar. And that would be it on the entire library of the PlayStation. And, another reason, have you ever watched Sonic Underground? You asked me this question, I said yes, and I also said something along the lines of, like, I don't remember finishing it, but... I probably, and I think I said I would probably go back at some point. Haven't gone back yet, but it's just my overall gaming experience has been fluctuating, and I'm annoyed at myself for bouncing between game to game, but I can't blame myself for bouncing to game because I want something new. I want something fresh. That's another reason why I bounce to game, because I want a fresh experience. I don't want the same experience disguised as a new one. I want a legit, fresh experience. Something I've never played before. Something I don't know what to do in. Something I'm trying to... You know what I mean? I'm trying to just see... and I feel like maybe sometimes I wasn't meant to beat the games that I play. Maybe sometimes I was meant to play the game for a little bit and just move on, because I'm starting to feel that way more than ever before now, because there are so many games where I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna put my hand. You know what? I am so tired of forcing myself to beat a lot of these games. I'm gonna play this for an hour, and after that, I am done. You know, I'm not. I'm tired of trying to force myself to finish something when I don't need to. You know, I don't need to be that guy that finishes shit, and I'm starting to see that now more than ever, that I need to stop finishing games, or I need to stop finishing them that, you know, that I feel like are not worth it, and just need to just play it and move on, right? And sometimes I still get that idea like, oh, I need to beat it, but it's becoming way less apparent that I'm forcing myself to beat something, because I'm realizing that beating the game is unnecessary. You just need to experience it to the best of your ability and drop it. And sometimes I've been doing that as of late, you know, and that's why I feel like for the next little bit, I kind of want to talk about some games that I literally dropped because of one reason or another. Not in this stream, but maybe in different streams. Yes, I have played every single God of War game known to man right now. I've played God of War 1, God of War 2, God of War 3, Chains of Olympus. I played both PSPs. I've played God of War 4, didn't really care for that one. I played God of War Ragnarok, didn't really care for that one until I played the Valhalla free DLC, which then again, I did care about that, but I didn't really care much about the difficulty, so I just kind of put it on easy just to move on, and whatever. So, yes, I played pretty much every God of War game, except for that one God of War mobile game. And I love all the God of War games. I loved each and every single one of them I spent time with. They're all great. I already have like so many reviews on each of the games in my experience playlist on my homepage, so you can check those out. You gotta scroll a lot though, because I talk about God of War 1 one day and then not 2 next week. You know, it takes a couple of weeks for me to play God of War 2 and finish it up for you guys or whatever. But that's my borderline like experience with bouncing the games and how annoying it is bouncing from game to game or not even wanting to play, or just, you know, other feelings that relate to that topic. And I feel like it happens to probably some of you guys a lot, where you bounce to game, maybe even sometimes even forget about the game in question you're trying to you initially wanted to play, but then you just don't play it because you're bored in a few days or you're bored in a few weeks, something like that. You're a pro gamer if you played God of War. I'm not a pro gamer. Honestly, I feel like being a pro gamer is like a pro gamer. See, I'm not a pro gamer. I can't even say gamer right. I feel like being a pro gamer is overrated. You know, every time I play a video game, I say I'm either average or less than average, because I'm not a pro. I'm gonna be honest, I am not a pro. I'm not a pro at any game I touch. I'm just okay at them. Because if I was a pro, I wouldn't be doing this or that towards any sort of game. You know what I mean? So that's why I say to myself, you are painfully average at video games, or less than average at video games. I'm like super omega good, because every single time I said that, y'all can roll some clips. Every single time I got a little confident. All right? I got a little confident in my own ability, and I end up dying. You know, New Super Mario Brothers is a great example of that, or something in my other gameplay videos is a great example of that. Oh man, I'm good at Punch Out. Gets fucking mollywopped like 5 seconds later. You know what I mean? That's what happens whenever I say I'm good at video games, or I'm a god, or I am pro. I don't like using those terms, because I feel like when people say that, you know, they tend to get a little bit of pride behind when they say that, and it ends up, you know, they end up fueling their own ego when they start saying shit like that. And usually whenever I say it, I'm joking. I don't take it seriously, you know. When I call myself the ultimate being or the ultimate life form, I'm just playing around. I'm not serious. I'm not the ultimate. I know I'm just an average Joe. But anyways, I digress, right? But that's my experience with it, and I wanted to let y'all in on it because I'm bothered by that a lot, man. I'm bothered by, you know, picking up games and playing them for a little bit, dropping them, not having an innate interest in it after a bit anymore. And I honestly feel that with Super Mario Bros. 3 mixed a little bit, or most Super Mario 64 ROM hacks nowadays. Like, I play them for the initial interest, and then it just kind of drops and fades over time, because A, I'm either not playing it every day, or I'm not fucking doing something like this every other day or something like that, and it just bothers me, right? And there's also other things that bother me, like trying to ROM hack your games, but that's a whole other discussion for another day. How about we talk about your experience with Mario and Sonic Olympic Winter Games for the DS? You know, that is a video I could make, and I didn't think about it because I don't have a thumbnail for it, but you know what? Maybe today we'll just do a bunch of my experience or something, because, I mean, maybe I could do a bunch of, I don't know. I'm feeling it, but at the same time, you know, I don't know. I don't fucking know. Maybe I'll return to Galaxy 2. I don't fucking know. Today is a wild day. But anyways, I'll be right back with another video. God bless you all. See you guys in a little bit.